Hello, beautiful beings. Oh, how are you today? I hope you're well. Daneaya Z coming to you on, June 22nd, 2021. Thank you for you. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your day, and thank you for being a part of mine. I'm truly, truly honored with your presence in my world. This morning it's early here, it's like 20 after 8 in the morning, and I just got home from a float at Float Space here in Kelowna, and oh my gosh, if you guys haven't been down to Float Space, you gotta go. It is just amazing. It's just, it's bliss. Anyways, I would like to share a quote that I came across recently, and it goes like this. It says, "The most beautiful thing that you will ever have is the relationship with yourself." And that's so true to me. That resonates so true, right? In my own story and what I help people do, it all comes down to your relationship with yourself. Because when you think about it, you are the one person that you will spend your entire life with. So wouldn't it make sense to then say that that's the relationship that needs to be cultivated and nurtured the most? And I'm sure you guys have all noticed how easy it is to just put aside taking care of yourself. And it can be anything. It can be anything. I could sit here and list off all these examples, but I'm sure you've already got something going through your mind where, something came up and the first thing that gets taken off your plate is something that you'd wanted to do for yourself, right? And I know that you, like me, have noticed those days where time just goes flying by, and all those things that you wanted to do to take care of yourself, whatever they were, maybe it's exercising, maybe it's taking a walk with a friend, maybe even doing, something that just solely for you. And you promised yourself you were going to do them. And before you know it, poof, your day is so far gone that those things that you said you were going to do have just kind of been put into tomorrow again. And if you think about it, consider this, like we are taught to put everyone else ahead of us. We are taught that is the way it's supposed to be, and that's noble, and that's what defines us as a good human being. And it reminds me of a story. And this is a true story. I was talking to a dear friend of mine, and she was talking about this exact thing, right? She shared with me of a time, and it wasn't that long ago, where she walked up to her full-length mirror in her bedroom. And, really it was like any other day for her. Things had just gotten a little crazy and a little haywire, and what is it they say, like life happens, right? And she had made plans to go for a walk with her girlfriend, and something came up and she had to push it off again. And so she was kind of feeling a little bit down, and so she kind of paused for a moment to look at herself in the mirror. I think she had to take the kids to school or something like that, and for whatever reason, she paused for just that moment. And she really, really, really looked into her eyes, right? She looked deep into her eyes, and she said, something happened in that moment. It was like, as she looked into her eyes, she became aware of a deeper connection that she actually had to herself, right? This deep, deep connection. And she'd never really noticed it before. And it kind of captivated her for a minute, right? It captivated her for a minute. And it was as though she could just naturally and easily see beyond her normal vision and see deep, deep into her soul, into that part of her soul that was in pain, that was just longing for change. Any kind of change, some kind of change, just something to be different. And in that moment, she said it just came so naturally, right? It was just effortless for her to let her vision expand deeper into herself. And in that moment, you guys, she could see all the things, almost too easily. She saw the betrayals. She saw the broken dreams. She saw all her forgotten desires. She saw the abuse. She saw all the things she had let herself experience in her deepest longing for love. Love from her parents, love from her family, acceptance from her friends, from her coworkers. And the more she looked at all those past versions of herself, the more she became aware of this burning desire to just let it go. Just let it all go. And she remembered, oh my goodness, she remembered as she looked at all of those past versions of herself. She looked to the ones on her left and she looked to the ones on her right, and it was as if like she could see them above her and below her and all around. And she just took a moment and she took a deep breath and she said, in that moment, she just decided to let it all go. Like, what the fuck, why not? Oh, she just let it go. And as she looked again, she looked to the left and she looked to the right and she looked up and she looked down and she looked all around in each direction. Things just effortlessly began to fall away, right? It was as if all the hurt, all the judgment, all the betrayal, all the disappointment, everything, she just, let it walk away. And she shared that as she looked again in each direction, looked left, looked right, looked up, looked down, looked around, it was as if more of those old parts of herself just let go. It was as if she said, Daneaya, it was like there was a waterfall of light washing over me, washing through me, and it just took it all away. And it was as if it had moved beyond, like, this was like a super cool experience for her, right? And it was like it had moved beyond natural dimensions and it was cleansing her soul. And she had tears of relief flowing down her cheeks as you know, as she looked at it, and she knew she'd come a long way, but it was like she saw things that she let go of that she didn't even know she was still carrying. And as she was just crying these tears, these sweet tears of relief that just flowed down her face, down her cheeks, it was as though she was finally able to send genuine love and caring and nurturing to all of those past versions of herself. And for the first time, maybe ever, she allowed herself to receive that love, to truly receive that love. And you know, she looked even deeper into her eyes, deeper into her soul, and in that moment, she saw the woman that she wanted to be. And she allowed herself to step into that woman and serve from a place of overflowing love and devotion and forgiveness and compassion, beginning with her. Because something changed for her in that moment, right? Something changed. She allowed herself to take up the space that was naturally hers, that was, it was hers to take, right? She allowed herself to become a woman that lived her life, not just existed. And she almost giggled. She almost giggled when she realized that the only thing that was standing in her way was that old, outdated version of herself. And she's like, that's it. That was it. And so in that moment, she just made a decision. She made a decision to step through that version. And as she stepped through that version, that illusion just simply faded away. It was like it wasn't even there. And she knew in her heart and in her soul that she was going to have to do that a few more times, right? Because she understands that there's always going to be changes. There's always going to be shifting. Always. Because a soul that's moving toward change is a soul that's evolving. Because if you think about it, the only thing that ever stays the same is that it changes. That's it. You know, sometimes as humans, we hang on so tight to the way things were, and I don't want them to change, but like, let's get real. We change every second of every day, if you want to get really technical about it. So anyways, back to my friend. God, it's such a beautiful story. She decided in that moment she was gonna take care of her. She was gonna do whatever she needed to do to nurture her own heart and her own soul and her own being, so that she could truly be that person she wanted to be. And that was it. You know, and so you know what she did? She called her girlfriend and she went for a walk. She had the best time ever. And she understood in that moment. She said it was a life-changing moment for her. She said, you know, she got it. That the more she loved herself, the more love she had to give to others. And that deepened every aspect of her life. And her story, you guys, her story is one of the many reasons why I sit in front of you now sharing, because this reminds me of me. This reminds me of me in so many ways, because I know that you, like me, understand the value of truly stepping into who you long to be, who you are meant to be. And that is a big reason why I have dedicated my life's work to that very thing, to help you remember your connection to you, back into your heart. That's all I wanted to say today, guys. I woke up and it was like, oh, I need to share that story. I love you all so very, very much. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.